Priority removal, that's what we did at the beginning, so you don't really need to update that. But if you like change your mind halfway through, you can do that here. And then last is comments, and this is an optional field. You don't have to write comments. You can if you want. Usually this is something you decide about with your team before you head out for the day, and you can write about, you know, whether or not it's halfway falling into the tree. Maybe there's a huge giant dead branch that's hanging on by a thread you want to flag. Maybe it's a really beautiful ash looking tree, and it's one you think might be a contender to have some treatments to keep it alive. Whatever you think might be useful in the comments, that goes in this comments field, and you can type it out, and you have 255 characters to do so. Great, so the last thing that you can choose to add is a photo. So to do that, I'm not going to do that because I'm inside, but to do that you would choose this little camera icon up in the upper left corner, and then you can add a photo or choose from your library. So you click that, you do add, take photo or video, or choose from library. And you can take a photo of the tree so that it's easier to find later on. If not, you can just use the location to try to find it. Great, so I'm now ready to submit my point. Unfortunately, I don't have, you know, good location, so that's not great, but I'll put a point down with my finger and I'll say this is where the point is. If I had better accuracy with the location, that red dot would show up by itself, but since I don't have to do it myself. But if this were off for some reason, if I was actually somewhere over here in the parking lot and the red dot was coming up over here, I could just tap over here in the parking lot and say that's where the tree is. So it's nice that you're able to move that, but again, if you have the proper accuracy, that would just show up on its own. So now I'm ready to hit submit. I've got all my points in here. I don't have any comments for this. I have the red dot in the right spot, so now I go on the right and I hit. Okay, so I've submitted my feature. It's stored on my device. The red circle is now a red square. So that means the feature was submitted and it's stored, and I can see all my information right here. And now I've moved down the parking lot. Say I'm over back closer to the building now. I'm ready to add another feature, and I see another tree, and it's also large and also half dead, so it has a lot of the same information from my last point. So instead of having to type that all over again, I can press this square with the arrow up, and I can press copy, and this allows me to collect another feature like this one, meaning it will copy over the attributes and location, or like this one at my location, meaning it'll copy the attributes but it'll update the location. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to select the second one. So it'll auto-populate all these data fields, but it won't populate the location. So I'm going to pretend I'm down the street in the parking lot and I'm seeing a large half-dead ash tree, but this time it's only one tree instead of two. So I'm going to change the count, change that to 1, but it's the same diameter class, it's the same condition, and it's also on a private roadside type. So I'm going to leave all those fields, and I'm going to say the location is right here. Again, if I had the proper accuracy, that red circle would pop up by itself, but I'm going to do that manually since I'm inside. And this copy feature is great because now I don't have to redo the date for every point. So that looks good to me, so I'm going to press submit again. I'm not going to do a photo again because I'm inside. So I'm going to press submit, store it on my device, and there's my second point. And let's say I'm continuing my walk, I see another tree, but this time it's a small ash tree that's I don't think should be flagged for priority removal. So I'm going to add a new feature, and to do that, again, you just press the same plus sign at the beginning and you start all over. I'm walking along and I realize, oh, actually that last tree was smaller than 12 to 24 inches, but I've already submitted the point. So to do that, you can go back and edit, and all you have to do is you zoom in and you press on the point, and you can see it. All the information shows up. And if you need to change anything, you can press that arrow again in the square, and you can press edit, and it just opens it back up, and you can update anything you want. So I'm going to say it's actually smaller than 12 to 24, so I'm going to update that. And then instead of submit, obviously it's an update, so you press update. And now it's been switched, and it says 0 to 12 inch diameter class, so that feature is right, it's all updated. And then the last option in this square with an arrow up is to delete. So if I didn't want this point anymore, I had found somebody else actually took data on this tree at the end of the day or whatever. For any reason, if you want to delete it, you just press delete and you say confirm, and now it's gone. So you want to be careful with delete. You want to make sure that you definitely don't need that point before you delete it, obviously, because you can't get it back. Great, so I'm going to pretend my day of data collection is done. I am back in the building my team is all met with. We're all together again. We all have our data, so I go back, turn my Wi-Fi back on, back inside. So hopefully I should get that service back pretty soon. There it is, great. And before I leave my team for the rest of the day, I have to sync my data. Because right now, as it is, I can only see my data on my device because it's stored on my device and I haven't synced it to the online network yet, so nobody else can see my data. So before I leave, I have to go to Maps, and you can see here there's this little 1 in the red circle over the cloud. That means there's 1 point stored on my device that's not on the online portal. So to get that so that everybody can see my data even after I'm done, I have to sync it by pressing this cloud with the 2 arrows. And see, it starts syncing. It's just like downloading. The blue bar will go across the screen, and we'll be back when it's done. Okay, so it's been synced, and you know that because it says synced 10/4/18 at 10:39 a.m., and that red circle with the number is gone. So I know all my device has been successfully uploaded online, and it will stay there forever. Just a quick note, sometimes when you try syncing, it'll say sync failed, or it'll stop halfway through, or it will go all the way through with the sync, but that number is still there. If anything like that happens, try logging out and logging back in. And if the problem persists, you can contact Elise for some help on that. But mine worked fine, all my data is online, and I can delete this existing map so that it doesn't clog up my device. So to do that, you click this square with the arrow up and manage, and you see this option to remove the downloaded map. So you press remove, and I want to remove everything because I don't want to have any of that information sucking up the storage on my device, so I select remove features and base map. And now it's gone, and you can see there's nothing stored on my device, but if I go back, I can still get to that map if I need to download it again. So there you have it. That's how you use the Rural Roadside Ash Inventory tool. I hope this video has helped. And if you would like to move forward with using this tool, please contact our Technical Assistance Coordinator, Elise Shadler. And if you want to learn more about Vermont UCF, you can visit our website at www.vtcommunityforestry.org. Thank you for watching.